We surround our table with reporters, not pundits, for a reason. We close each Sunday by asking them to share a nugget or two from their notebooks to help get you out ahead of the big political news just around the corner. Nia Malika Henderson?
One of the things that's going to be interesting to watch as former President Obama figures out his post-White House years is whether or not he officially weighs in on this DNC race. Of course, his guy, Tom Perez, who is the former Labor Secretary, is running, as well as Michael Blake, who's running as the vice chair. He was an Obama staffer. He has said very complimentary things about Tom Perez and Michael Blake, and Michael Blake is actually using some of Obama's former fundraisers in Chicago to fund his race. It'll be interesting to see if he officially endorses and if it matters. It'll be a real test of what kind of juice he has. And we also know that there's some DNC members who blame Obama for the DNC essentially lying fallow and taking a lot of resources away from the DNC as he was president.
A test of clout in the early days. Jeff Zeleny?
Well, it's location, 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 and real estate and other things. No one knows that more than Donald Trump. So as the Trump administration settles into the West Wing, the fight is on for who is going to get which office. Always one of the most interesting things in a new administration. Reince Priebus, the chief of staff, I'm told will have the chief of staff's office, which has a fireplace, as we all know, long conference table, access to outside. But interestingly, I'm told that Jared Kushner will be sitting in a smaller office, but the one that is closest to the Oval Office. David Axelrod has had that office. David Plouffe had the office years before that. Karen Hughes, I believe, had that office. On the second floor of the West Wing is Kellyanne Conway. She's occupying the office of Valerie Jarrett and once upon a time, Hillary Clinton, back in the Clinton years. The rest of the offices are still being filled in.
A little fun history there. I don't think she'll hang old historical portraits in that office.
Probably.
Peter?
Well, we talk a lot about crowd size, but one of the things that's going to be interesting to watch in these next few weeks is how the Trump administration deals with the agencies that it now is in charge of. And we had a great example with this. My colleague, Binya Applebaum from the New York Times, tweeted out on Friday pictures that we've all been looking at of the different inaugurations. And then it was retweeted by the National Park Service, which normally is in charge of that patch of ground. It got in trouble for that. Trump people didn't particularly like that. And suddenly, for several hours, the National Park Service went offline. Their Twitter account was effectively suspended. So we're going to see a really interesting period over these next few weeks of how agencies of the government, which are probably pretty suspicious of this new president, deal with a new president who's pretty suspicious of them.
He is their boss. We'll see how that one plays out. Mary Catherine?
Well, it looks like there's like a different kind of CIA pushback coming. General Hayden, who served under Obama and Bush, came out and said, look, I don't know what the deal is with this holdup on Pompeo, given his credentials. They're pretty impressive. And he spoke to the concerns people have about the interrogation techniques, saying, look, the man has said he's going to follow the law. He's going to come to Congress if he thinks there should be a change. This is not a big deal. I think it's interesting just because there's been so much fire between CIA and Trump that on the other side, a respected veteran is coming out and saying, look, let's get this moving. The national security operation is important.
Important because also General Hayden's been very critical of the new president, Donald Trump, but stepping in to help him here. I'm going to close with this. Mounting pressure on the new administration to kick its personnel search into higher gear. Many of the number 2, 3, and 4 jobs at cabinet agencies remain unfilled, and it's those positions that have giant influence over day-to-day government operations. A White House official promises there will be a steady stream of announcements in the days ahead. But it's also no secret around town, Team Trump is having a hard time filling some of the big jobs. Take the number 2 position at Treasury Department, for example. Wall Street veteran Steve Mnuchin is the president's choice for the top job. Now, Mnuchin smartly is looking for a veteran Washington hand as his number 2. And the transition reached out recently to Congressman Jeb Hensarling of Texas. Hensarling, though, was passed over for the top job at Treasury and said he has no interest in the deputy role. We'll keep an eye on that. That's it for us on Inside Politics today. Thanks for sharing your Sunday morning. Inside Politics also with us every weekday at noon for the early weeks of this big new year. Hope to see you then. That's tomorrow at noon. I'll be here. Up next, State of the Union with Jake Tapper.